Infamous Joel here, back for day 4, and as promised, we're gonna close this thing out with a bang. I'm gonna show you what what was the game changer. Like those are tools, okay? Those things I showed you before. Those are tools. They're part of like marketing and business tactics, but they're not strategy. There's a difference between tactics and strategy. Tactics are those things. They're like the tools. They kind of help you do the job, okay? But strategy is the overall, like, this is what I do and this is why my business is so consistent in bringing in income. And all the top experts out there, all the big gurus understand a few key core strategies when it comes to marketing their services. Okay. And I didn't realize that in the beginning. I just kept falling for all these guru traps and thinking that, this next guru is going to have the best product or service is going to help me get to the next level. But really, they were just using their strategies on me that once I actually sat back and looked at it and said, you know what, I'm going to stop listening to what the gurus are telling me and start watching what they're doing. That's two completely different paradigms right there. When you watch what they do, even when you watch what I do, you can start to pick apart, okay, why are they doing that? What are they doing and why does it actually work? You see what I'm saying? You're not just listening to what they say because they're basically just telling you whatever you want to hear so that you can buy their thing. But what are they doing? What are the key psychological components they're using to get you, convince you to buy that thing? Okay. Now, long story short, this is what I discovered. Okay. When I came home and I spent that 7 years in prison, I spent most of that time in prison studying business. I got myself clean. I started getting a whole new direction in life. I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad that changed everything. And I started studying as many business books as I possibly could. I got a passion for it. I started teaching the business class and seeing all these inmates go home before me and start successful businesses, barbershops, food trucks, construction companies. And my heart would be just warmed up with like all this excitement, like, oh my God, I found my passion in life. Like I want to help people start businesses and be successful. It was wonderful. Like it was the greatest feeling of my life. And I was so excited for when I came home and I would have my chance to put my services out there to the general public, to the world, and start showing everybody how to run a business, right? How to start and run a successful business where they can kind of be like me, kind of find themselves and kind of find their message and find their audience and be themselves and get paid to be yourself. There's nothing better than that, right? That's an expert business. That's part of the whole evolution, the infamous mob, hashtag mob idea, right? That you can be yourself. You don't have to compromise and you're still going to get that 100 key people that are going to be your favorite fans, your clients, and you're going to have a 6-figure business. That's all you need to do. Okay. So when I came home, I just assumed that everybody who I was meeting online knew and understood all the business stuff that I was learning for all those years, all the books that I read. I mean, I read a ton of books. It's called the expert's curse. Is when you learn so much about a subject that you just assume that everybody else knows what you know. Okay. And I was constantly like dumbfounded and constantly like, what? Like the fact that people didn't know even the most basic things that I already knew. I thought like even to this day, I'm still baffled by it. I'm just like, huh? But that's called the expert's curse. Okay. It does happen. All right. And once I hit that wall and I kept trying to overcompensate for the fact that I knew so much but thought I didn't know so much, if that makes sense. I kept trying to make the flashiest stuff, the flashiest presentations, the most groundbreaking secrets and all these free trainings and webinars and case studies and stuff that were just way over the top. Though I thought I had to top everybody, the new discovery that exploded everything. I thought I had to be the newest and greatest and best because I saw all my other competition out there and I felt like I felt weak. I felt small compared to them. But in reality, there's such a vast, just a giant, massive pool of people out there who don't even know a little bit of what you know. All you need to do to be an expert is be one step ahead of someone else. That's it. Just think, if you know just a little bit more than the next person, you're an expert to them. Okay, so my epiphany came when I realized, the reason that so many people that I keep running into don't know the things that I know and they're not as fired up and passionate about business the way I am is because they didn't have the same epiphany that I had. Okay? We don't just go off learning something just because. I went off learning something because I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which just happened to fall in my lap by accident. I didn't have anything else to read. I was sitting in a prison cell. I didn't have anything to do. I was bored. Somebody handed me the book, said, read this, and it lit my whole world on fire. But not everybody has that same epiphany. Not everyone has those same epiphanies. So your job as a marketer from now on is to give your audience epiphanies. And there's a very specific way that you present your content in order to do that. Okay? There's a very specific way. And I'm going to map it out for you right here, right now for free. This is stuff that I'm telling you is out there for multiple thousands of dollars, and I'm showing it to you for free. Don't mind the way I draw. This is going to make sense in a minute. Okay? And this is supposed to be a light bulb. It's supposed to be a light bulb. Okay? New thing. Right? And that's it. So when you're doing your YouTube videos, when you're doing your Facebook Lives, when you're doing your TikTok videos, when you're on your website, when you're doing your webinar that I showed you, to have your free training inside that webinar funnel that I gave you. When you're doing anything, any of the content you create, whatever point you're trying to make, whatever new idea you're trying to put in their mind, understand that they need to have that epiphany first. Okay? An idea is so much more powerful when the other person thinks that they came up with the idea. Right? It's way more powerful for me to tell you a story than for you to figure something out on your own, than for me to just sit there and blab on and tell you stuff and try to teach you things. You're not going to understand why you're learning all this stuff. Right? When I was a little kid, I used to put my hand in the stove all the time. I used to put my hand in the stove and I never got burnt, so I just kept doing it. But my mom would freak out and she'd always say, stop putting your hand on the stove. Just don't do that. Stop doing that. Right? And like a dumb little kid that I was, I just kept doing it. Why? Because I didn't understand why I should stop doing it. She just kept saying, stop doing it. So one day she got really pissed off and she called my dad in the room. She said, tell this fucking kid, stop putting his hands on the stove. Right? And my dad looked at me and he said, have you heard of little Jimmy down the street? And I said, no. And he said, well, I'll tell you why I haven't never heard of Jimmy. Because he's dead. Okay? He's dead because he kept putting his damn hand on the stove. And then one day he got burnt and caught on fire and he burnt to a crisp and he's gone now. That's why you never heard of little Jimmy. Happened about 10 years ago. Before you were born. And I looked at my dad and I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, so what should you do now? I said, I should not put my hand on the stove. He's like, that's right. And guess what? I never put my hand on the stove again after I heard that story. Whether it be true or not true, after I heard that story, it freaked me out and I never put my hand on the stove. So ask yourself, why did my dad's story work better than my mom just telling me to not put my hand on the stove? It was the story. It was the epiphany. I thought of the idea myself. I came to the conclusion myself that putting my hand on that stove is a bad idea. Right? So all your content, all your video content, your written content, everything you put out there online needs to do the same thing. You need to help your client get that same epiphany, whether it be your own personal stories, stories of other people, stuff that you've seen, the same epiphany. You're going to be a storyteller from now on. So you're going to start your story. Bear with me while I write all this. External. Remember, I dropped out of high school. I don't know how to spell very well. So, internal, external. And this is where they are right now. They have a desire. They have a desire. And the most powerful stories out there, the best ones are ones where you tell a story about yourself. More than likely, you are your potential client in the past, right? You've probably overcome something in your life where now you feel like, well, I've overcome that. Now I can coach other people to get through it, right? So tell stories about yourself and the epiphanies that you had. You yourself had a desire, okay? You yourself had a desire. I wanted to learn how to do online marketing. And this is the struggles, the ups and downs I went through. Make yourself relatable. What were the internal struggles? I was frustrated. I was scared. I was lost. I was hopeless. I was All those things make you relatable. What were the external struggles? There was so many gurus in my ear, so much information. I kept watching all these videos on YouTube. I kept trying to figure everything out. I kept jumping from product to product. Whatever those external struggles were, those are part of your story. Whatever story you tell. Then, what happened? You ran into a wall. Something had to give. Part of the story is you ran into a wall. Then I just had it. I ran into a wall. I ran into this wall. I couldn't do this anymore. We're about to lose the house. They repoed my car. I spent so much money on this. I did whatever. Maybe you were trying to lose weight. I ran into a wall. I tried every program out there. I was just sick of it. I was ready to just give up. I was sitting on my couch eating a tub of ice cream, crying. I was so messed up. I was done. Then what happened? The epiphany. The epiphany is obviously the most powerful part of your story. But you can't get to this epiphany part of your story. Man, I spelled that terribly wrong. You can't get to this epiphany part of your story without the struggles first. The struggles and hitting the wall. It's very important because it makes you so relatable. And your potential client, your perfect client is out there saying, wow, that's me, that's me, that's me. Oh my God, they're so right. They're going through that right now. You are instantly, and here's the secret to all online marketing, instantly positioning yourself as the expert. Okay? So many coaches that are getting started and not really going where they want to go, they're struggling, and they run to get more credentials. They think that's what makes them an expert. That's wrong. That credential company is using clever marketing on you. You don't need permission to be the top coach out there. You need smart and better marketing. And how do you do that? You position yourself as the expert in your prospect's mind by doing this right here. Doing this right here. This same process brought me 6 figures. Every story I told online served the same purpose, to give you an epiphany, to make you understand, to give you the idea in your own mind. Wow, I just came up with an idea. I just had an epiphany. I just realized something. Whatever I was trying to prove to you, you had the same epiphany that I once had. I didn't just go on my content and say, guys, this is what you need to do. That doesn't work. People don't like to be talked to. They like to be talked with. Okay, and that's how you entice people to become your clients. The epiphany was all these programs didn't work because my diet wasn't right. Boom. So now you had the epiphany. Well, what was the right diet? Bang, 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 bang. All these gurus programs didn't work, and all the stuff I was spending money on wasn't working because I was listening to what gurus were saying instead of watching what they were doing. Boom, big epiphany. Right? When you say it, they get it because they first saw themselves in you and your story, or whatever examples. Maybe you told a story of somebody else, but they saw themselves in that story. Man, I'm going through the same thing. The ups and downs, hitting the wall. I get it. Then when you have the epiphany, it's like, boom, they have the same epiphany. Makes so much sense to them. That's exactly what's wrong. That I get it. Oh, man. Right? Then you introduce them to the new thing. You introduce them to the new thing. What's the new thing? Your product, your service, your coaching, whatever it may be. Discover. Discovery. Trust me, this says discovery somewhere in the depths of my mind. Okay, so the new discovery. So I'm going to tell you about what I do now. I'm going to do this for you now. This is what I came up with. This is what worked for me, and this is what's going to work for you. That's it. That's all marketing. Now that I've told you that, you're going to see this everywhere. You're going to see it in every ad. You're going to see all the top gurus you're following use this same structure. You're going to use that. You're going to see everything. All you do from here, once they've seen your content, they're convinced, they're following you. They're like, oh my God, I've had the same epiphany. You've put them in that same bubble that you once had, or the bubble you want them to be in to be ready to buy, right? All you do from there is you have a simple conversation. I use Messenger. You can also take it to the phone, like I showed you in the funnel itself. I use Messenger. You can use phone. Why? Because they're sold already. This is the difference between all the people out there tell you need to be a salesperson. You need to be like the top salesman on the planet. You don't. It's your content that sells for you, right? They should already be sold by the time you're talking to them. Don't get in a conversation with a prospect and try to convince them to buy your thing. It's like it's lame. Really, it is. It's lame. I have it all day long. I open up Messenger. I have like 20 people on my Messenger. Like, hey, how's your business going? Do you want to buy this thing? It's like, please get out of here. I block them immediately, right? But if they had said instead, hey, how's it going? I have this free training that'll show you this and this and this. There's much less resistance to see something for free or experience something for free than there is like, hey, buy this thing. I know you don't know me, but buy this thing. Who are you? I don't care about you or your thing. Like, what is this? But instead, if you say, I'm going to solve your problem, I'm going to offer you a solution for free, here's this thing, works 10 times better. Because then I can choose from the free thing, do I want the actual to buy the thing or not? Now, the free thing has to be so good that it makes me think, man, if this is the free thing, then whatever I spend money on with this person is probably 10 times better, right? Makes sense. So help people, serve people. I like Messenger and phone, but you could probably think of a lot of other ways to close the sale. I like Messenger and phone, but that's all you do. After that, that's all you do. That's the same process that I went through for 7 months when I reached 6 figures online. Very simple. Over and over and over again, every single day, over and over. Simple. The more simple you make the process, the easier it is to get to 6 figures. Okay? 7 figures and 8 figures and beyond and stuff like that, like you're gonna have to start getting good at running ads, building out a team. It's a different business model, like I showed you, right? But in the beginning, to get to 6 figures, any beginner, any schmuck can get to 6 figures. I did it. It's easy. It just make your business very simple. Don't try to run a 7-figure business, which is a totally different business model, when you haven't even got to 6 figures yet. Make sense? All right, so this is pretty much it. This wraps up the entire 4-day free training. This is everything you need to get to that next level, to start bringing in clients consistently, to build out your systems and get to at least the founder level, okay? You're going to be like in the middle of the founder level with just this information right here. All the way up through evolution levels when you start building out a team, a sales team, an affiliate team, selling products and services over just coaching, where you're actually making digital products like courses and ebooks and all that stuff like that, so that you can just like diversify your knowledge and make more sales in the background, okay? So there's a lot of other stuff going on there. Running ads is something I'm not good at all, so I don't teach it. But that's like when you're getting to 7 figures and 8 figures. But you can get to 6 figures with just this, okay? With just this. And you can even get to 6-figure months with just a purely organic business. But that's all in evolution. That's later on, okay? First, start getting your feet wet, start getting some clients in. And I'm going to leave a link, probably a button down below for you to get this book that all this is based off. All this is based off. It talks about the epiphany bridge. That's what that was, by the way. The epiphany bridge. It talks about the attractive character, which is how to like actually communicate yourself, your character, your being online to where people like look at you and they say, wow, that must be some big expert. It's called Expert Secrets, and it's actually free. All you have to do is pay the price of shipping. I'm pretty sure I have a copy myself here somewhere. I have so many books I have to check, but yes, it's right here. So you can actually see it right here. It's by Russell Brunson. Literally, okay, I'm not joking. This book right here is pretty much the only book I read all the way up to 6 figures online, okay? It's seriously, I read it like 3 times over and over. I just picked up all the nooks and crannies in it. I learned everything I could. It's an actual playbook, okay? A lot of books out there are going to be like long-ass sales letters. They're just going to convince you to buy the next thing. This is not like that. This is an actual online playbook. Like, this is what you need to be doing every single day in your business. And with the shipping and the free and like everything, I think it's like $7. Seriously. You don't need to buy a million different courses and all this other stuff if you don't want to. Like, I have courses, I have other services, so why would I tell you that if I wasn't serious? Like, I want you to buy my courses, right? But you really don't have to. If you can't afford it, at least get this. This is your playbook, okay? So that's the end of the training. That's the end of everything. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stick around in the Facebook group, and I hope to see you soon. I'm the infamous Joel, and I'm out.